is up, YouTube? It has been way too long since I've seen you guys. Welcome back to the channel. I mean, things have gotten progressively better for me over time. You guys have been with me since, day one, when I lost my job over almost 2 years ago now. Wow, that's been a long time. Now I've been working for about 4 or 5 months now, so that's actually starting to get better. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for the new subscribers that have come by since I haven't really been posting much. The last video I posted was the giveaway. So thank you guys once again for continuing to support me throughout everything. So today we've got a actual pretty in-depth and long install. I got a deal from a buddy of mine who was just parting out his car. He didn't want these anymore, and I couldn't pass it up. So I've been riding on stock height this entire time that I've owned this car, and today that changes. Now, it's not coilovers. It's not coilovers just yet, but for now, it is something that is going to help me achieve kind of, just the look that I'm going for. I mean, and it's all temporary. I mean, once I continue to build up more and more, savings and stuff like that, and get caught up on the bills that I, have accrued over the time, I will buy coilovers eventually. This is just something for the time being. But anyway, so today we'll be installing Tein S-Tech springs. It's got a 1.5 inch drop all around. At least that's what the box says. I mean, But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get this process started, go ahead and get these things installed. It is going to be kind of a long process, but if I have to maybe, put it into 2 videos, I will. I'm going to try to get it all in one. So, I'm going to try to make it as in-depth as possible. Since I haven't filmed a long time, I don't know where my tripod is. I'm going to try to find that real quick so that way I can show you guys while also having both hands to work. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this started. I've already got the wheel off of the car. I took off the Cusco strut bar. I don't know why I spaced on that. Anyway, took the Cusco strut bar, there we go, off of the car. And took the wheel off the car. I was going to go show you guys the before, and I completely spaced on doing that since it's been so long since I've filmed anything. But the passenger side, I will film the before. I'm going to get the driver's side done. And, you guys don't need to see me do all 4. I'll show you guys the front. I'll show you guys the rear. So we're going to go ahead and get that started right now. All right, so there's the spring set up right there. Like I said, they are the Tein S-Tech springs, 1.5 inch drop all around. I've got the wheel off of the car. I took the strut tower bar off. God, this is dirty. Anyway, so I took the bolts off for the strut tower bar, obviously, to take it off, but I put the nuts back on. So that way, when you're working down below and getting the bolts off on the bottom, the thing just doesn't fall out on you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to have to use both hands to get these 2 bolts out right here. So we're going to get those 2 bolts off right there. There's a clip right there for the speed sensor, and there's a bolt right there for the brake line. So pretty simple, straightforward. I've worked on some other ones that were way more difficult than this to get out. You got the whole strut right there and the spring setup that's going to be taken off. There's also a couple of little things I have to modify too. There is the bump stop that you do have to cut off a certain section off the bump stop, and that'll be another thing, once we get the strut out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to get this out. I'm going to try and somehow maybe put the phone, prop it up somehow that way, I can at least do a time lapse of me taking this stuff apart so you can kind of see what's going on. It sucks not having my tripod, but we're gonna go ahead and make do. I want to make sure that you guys have some more content from my channel, and because I like doing this stuff for you guys, and I haven't been able to do it in a long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this started.
If you are too demanding or too greedy, your mind is not rich and self-sufficient. When your mind becomes demanding, when you long for something, you will end up violating your own precepts. Not to tell lies, not to steal, not to kill.
All right. All right, so as you can see, I got the thing out of the car. Had a little bit of the difficulty getting the 19mm bolts off, the camera bolt and everything like that, but I was able to get it off. And as you can see here, it's off the car. So next step, I already took it off, but you gotta take this little cap off to get to the top hat and nut. And then we will install our spring compressor. Now, a friend of mine let me borrow these, so I thank him very much for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this in position. It's been a long time since I've done springs, so you gotta excuse me if I'm not that fast at doing them. Let's get that into position here. Tighten up this bolt. I got a lot of traveling to do here. Probably should have put them a little bit closer when I had the chance, but you know, it is what it is. It's all DIY. It's all getting this stuff done, and it's gonna take some time. I've done springs on one other car before, my old '89 RX-7 Turbo 2, but I had the ability to do them at my old dealership back in '07. So this I'm doing from home. I could have done it at my new dealership, but I don't think they allow me to film, so I wanted to make sure that you guys were in on this install as well. You know, I haven't really been paying attention to the YouTube channel in a while, so I wanted to make sure that you guys were able to see this install happen. All right. So I got one of them on there like that. Now this spring is difficult because it looks like I'm gonna have to put the other one right next to this one. Ideally, you'd want to put one on this side and one on this side, but this spring doesn't look like it has much of an area where you can grab. I wonder if I can slip this one in here and just do it upside down. It doesn't look like I can, so I'm gonna have to figure out the best way to do this. So you guys aren't on the hook watching me do this. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video real quick. Once I get this into position, I'll show you guys where I put them for your guys' own reference. All right, so thankfully I was able to find an adjustable wrench, because if I didn't, I would have been, you know, done. Because my little tool set is nice and all, but it doesn't have any like in the 20 millimeter range. And I think the top of those things are about 22s. So this is kind of one of those DIY, make sure that you got everything situated before you start type of thing. I almost would have been screwed. So this is the only real orientation I could have, the compressors. But that should be enough right there to hold the spring down while I get this top hat off. Now, as you can see, I don't have an open socket, so I can put one of those Allen keys in top to get this top hat off. So I'm hoping and praying that the impact that my buddy gave me, let me borrow, is gonna have enough power to get that off of there. So I'm gonna try it, see what happens, and yeah, hopefully this spring doesn't go flying anywhere, because that would suck. And hopefully I don't mess up the top hat, so here we go. Let's see, we've got a, what size is this? I'm gonna guess on a 14, on a 16, looks like it might be a 17. Yep, 17. Put it on here. And it worked. And I don't have a spring flying anywhere. Man, I love when things work out sometimes. Woohoo! Make sure you don't lose this either. That sits on the actual top of the spring seat. Spring out of here. And there we go. Step one is done. You know, I had gloves or I had gloves on, but obviously I don't have them anymore, so my hands are gonna be filthy, but whatever. So that's step one. Got the old spring off. We're gonna go ahead and get the other spring on here in a second. I'm gonna get everything all situated. I'm using the box for the springs as the thing that holds the camera up right now, so I'm gonna have to, once again, take another break here real quick, wash this grease off my hands, and get the spring out and get this thing back on. So let me do that real quick, and I'll show you guys what's going on next. All right, so on to putting on the new spring. Got the spring right here. All right. So, following the orientation of the old spring right there, I'm going to put that over that. Make sure it seats correctly and sits where it's supposed to. There is a little indent. I don't know if you guys can see that. A little indent the bottom of the spring falls into, and that's exactly where it sits, just like that. So, take our top piece here, make sure it sits correctly in that. Do it once over, make sure it's sitting directly where it's supposed to. It looks like it's not, so I want to make sure that we are correct before putting this thing back together. All right, so I tried because I'm by myself. I don't have anybody else to help me. I tried really hard to get that spring on the shock by myself, and was unable to do so, so I did use the spring compressors. I made sure to do this while it was sitting in the actual spring itself on the strut, so that way I know that once I get the top head on, these aren't stuck on there. I have to start all over. So I went ahead, used the spring compressors on the new spring. I'm going to get it onto the strut, get the top hat on there, and get it tightened down, and we should be good to put the front one back on the car. All right, so with the spring compressor on there, I was actually able to get the spring to sit correctly on the strut. So this thing is ready to go back in the car. Just gonna go ahead and put it back in, get those 2 bolts down there at the 19s, get the speed sensor back hooked up and the brake line back hooked up to the strut, get all 3 of the bolts up here, and we're pretty much good to go. Like, so my suggestion, if you're gonna be doing any type of springs, is definitely have a friend with you to help. If I didn't have the spring compressors, you know, obviously take them off. But if I didn't have them, you know, the room to put them on the new spring to get that on there, I wouldn't have been able to do it. If you have somebody else here that you can push down on the top hat and you can just get that bolt or nut started, then you're gold. So my suggestion is, if you have somebody to help you out, by all means do that. That'd be the easiest way to get this done. And on top of that, they can hold the strut and you can get the 3 nuts on top here. So it's going to be kind of a difficult thing. I'm going to try to get it done by myself. If not, we'll have to try to find somebody, but I should be able to get this done by myself. But yeah, just a suggestion, just have a friend help you out. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube of people doing these things, and they have like 3 or 4 people. So anyway, I'm gonna get this back on the car, and I'm gonna move on to the back, which I have to clean out my trunk first before I do it, and to access the bolts for the top of the strut on the back. So I'm hoping the back one is a whole lot easier as far as clearance for the spring compressors. So I'm gonna get this back in, get it back on the car, and continue on. Okay, so it took me a little while, but the front one is in and installed, and I'm telling you from experience now, you definitely want to have somebody help you with this, because it took a lot to get those bolts back in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get an alignment after this too. But what's great is the warning light for the air, for like air tire, you know, the TPMS sensor came on the other day. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I had problems with these rims before. And would you look at that? Brand new tires, literally bought them a month ago, and I've got that. So, I need to see when I get back to work on Monday if that is repairable. If not, looks like I'm buying another $110 tire. Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna get the tire back on, get the jack off of there, and move on to the back. All right, with the front completed, we're gonna move to the back. So first, what you wanna do is clear out your trunk. That way you can take out all the liners to get to the top hat of the strut, which I believe is somewhere about right there. So we're gonna be taking that piece out, which, yeah, when I was moving into my condo, a bunch of soap decided to open up in the trunk. So yeah, anyway, And we're gonna take that side off too. Well, we're back here just because we're gonna do this side next, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and go from there. Take everything out in the back, and then we're gonna start from the bottom. So let me get down here where you guys can see. Hold on a second. All right, so I watched a video of Subi Speed doing some springs, and they said to take off that bolt, and that bolt, drop the lower arm down enough to get this out. Now I'm gonna try to just take off, you know what? I was gonna just do it my own way and just try to take that one bolt off, but I think I'm gonna do the entire thing that way. We, you know, are able to get this out of here quickly, easily, without any type of headaches. And hopefully it's not too difficult to put it back together like the front was. Like I said, if you're gonna do this alone, be prepared to have a lot of trouble with that front end. Just because of how far you have to push it down in order to get it to, you know, seat correctly. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna take everything out of the back, and then we're gonna start down here. All right, so once removing almost every darn thing in the back of your car, you will see the nuts on both sides for the top hats of the struts. So we are all set on top. Now we're just gonna go ahead and start on the bottom, taking them out. All right, now that we're down below the car, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on removing those 3 bolts down there and getting that top hat taken care of as well. So I'm gonna do a little time lapse. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath right now. It's freaking hot out here right now. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these 3 bolts down here done, do a time lapse for you, and we'll get this thing out of the car so we can finish one side, and then I can get the other side done as well. All right, so got the rear out. I've got the spring compressors on. The rear is gonna be a ton easier than the fronts, just because the spring you have way more area to put your compressors on. So this will be cake compared to the front. And putting it back in actually shouldn't be that hard either. It's just like the front of it, the front of the car, you had to push down so much on the front hub to get it to bolt back in. That's why I've been saying that, you know, it's a 2-person job, but obviously I really don't have another person today to help me out. So I am flying solo, and I just had to put as much human pressure as I could on getting that front hub pushed down enough to the point where I can bolt it back in. I mean, as you can see, like, it's been completely different as far as time. Like when I started this thing this morning to now, like that whole time lapse I did, I was working on that front end for at least a couple hours, you know, and I'm hoping that everything else runs smoothly and I kind of know what to do a little bit better than I did before. But yeah, so okay, we got the spring compressed down. I should be able to take off the top hat relatively easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Get this spring on, get it all back together, and then I'll start recording again when I put it back into the car. All right, so with taking off the spring from the rear, you do have to modify the bump stop. Now, on here, WRX VA, 2015 and up, 2.0 liter turbo, you'll do cut A. The thing that I'm kind of running into is that's cut A right there, but the bump stop doesn't have 4 layers. So I'm thinking I just cut off that bottom section there and leave the upper 2 like the picture. So I'm going to try that first. I'm going to see how it goes with the ride. And if I have to take them apart again, I will. But I'm going to go ahead and cut that to spec and leave 2 bumps just like it has in the picture right there. So I'm going to go with that and we will see what happens. And so with that cut off, it looks just like the picture. I mean, got 2 layers to it, so I'm gonna roll with it. If there's anything different that you guys know of, please let me know in the comments. I'm hoping that I'm getting all of this for you guys as well as I can. Like I said, you know, it's been a while since I've shot anything, so I want to make sure that I am making quality content. I'm just not throwing crap content out. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and if you think that would work. So I'm gonna run it, I'm gonna do a full send and just go back and reinstall that in the car and get the rear going, so I can have one side of the car done finally. All right, here we go. All right, so I got the back in complete. As you can see, the wheel gap is not as big as it used to be. I did forget to shoot a before of this side, but I'm gonna do a before of the other side because that's next. But so far, I mean, for springs, not bad. I like it. It's definitely not stock height anymore, which I enjoy. And, you know, it may lower a little bit too when the springs settle down. So I will take an after picture. Give me about a week. Let the springs kind of settle, you know, with my daily commute and everything like that. But so far, not bad. I like them. And for the price, yeah, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, new, they go for about 200 bucks. I just knew somebody who was parting out their car and he never installed these things. So he was like, here you go, Coop. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Thanks, man. So I got those on the car and I'm going to go and do the other side. But obviously I don't need to film the other side because you guys saw me do this side. I hope that this video helps out, you know, somebody who is looking for any type of help when installing springs, especially on the WRX. I mean, the same can be said about most vehicles. I know the RX-7 that I had was about the same. And the 2.5 RS I had before, I did coils on it, but it was basically the same setup. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this latest video. I'm going to have more content out shortly. I got somebody who is watching my roommate. He says he's going to hook it up with a front lip, side skirts. So I'm going to be getting those hopefully pretty soon. I do have a couple of items that I just never installed. I'm going to try to go get those things on here quickly too. An Alcantara e-brake boot. Now that I have some 3M adhesive, I can do that. I have the actual OEM center console, the rising armrest. Excuse me, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to get those things installed. Videos coming shortly, but more content on the way here soon. Just wanted to give you guys an update and show you guys the install of the Tein S-Tech springs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have any sort of advice or anything like that you want to shoot my way, please do. And thank you guys once again for sticking around. And to the new subscribers, even though I haven't been posting much lately, thank you guys so much for joining the nation. And I promise I will bring more content. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. See you guys next time.